Weekend is great. Everything's good. Busy, busy, I did my first pilot yesterday. It went really well. But there's still, I have to fix a lot of stuff and get more comfortable. But everything is going really well.
Awesome. Let's get this situated here.
Yeah.
Going live on our platforms as well, giving people value. You get to see what we are going through for the month. And we are going into concentration. Focus. We focus with our will. And when we're looking at our concentration, we're looking at our ability to hold our thought in one direction for a period of time. And when we look at the amount of concentration that we have today, it's actually very low. We're used to everything taking our attention away. And the question would be, why is everything getting our attention? We're being inundated with our eyes, and everything around us taking that attention away. So the question is, what do we need to do to maintain concentration, develop concentration? The thing would be have a goal that's going to help focus you in one direction for a long period of time. The average individual doesn't have goals. So the goal is what we know. It's what we've already done. It's a product of the past ideas, past way of thinking. So when we don't set a new goal on our own with auto suggestion and repetition, we're normally going in the same direction over and over and over. And that becomes the confine of the average individual's lifestyle. They keep getting more of what they don't want. They keep doing more of what they already know. And they're wondering why they're living the way they're living. So it's very important to set goals that are beyond what you know. Have a goal that's a burning desire and what you truly enjoy. Let's see what we have here. And also knowing that goals are not to get, they're to grow. Goals are not to get, they're to grow. As you set a goal, you set a target, you're accomplishing that goal. You begin to learn more about yourself, and you also begin to deprogram. And this is one of the most important things is deprogramming. Let me get this situated here. And we are going live, so you guys get to see everything here and now. No clips, no stopping. We don't have anybody editing, so you're getting this live. You also have any questions, you can send your questions in. We are in concentration. There we go. Here's a couple of procedures that we can follow in concentration. Then I'm going to touch on them lightly. First, at the beginning of the formation of a new habit, put force, enthusiasm into your expression. Feel what you think. Remember that you are taking the first steps toward making the new mental path. That is much harder at first than it will be afterwards. Make the path as clear and as deep as you can at the beginning so that you can readily see it the next time you wish to follow it. And this has to be through repetition. Constant spaced repetition of what? Of the new goal, of the new vision. Why? Because you already have a goal inside of you. Each and every one, we are goal oriented, heat seeking individuals. We're always looking for what's next. Your soul and spirit is always looking for what's next. It wants to anticipate the future, it wants to know where it's going. So it's always getting into the spirit of an idea, it's always getting into the spirit of a direction. So when you don't consciously create a direction, spirit goes to the subconscious to keep guidance. Spirit goes to the old ideas to know what to do next. Because your essence must always forward and press, your essence must always co create with you, your spirit must always attract people, places, plots, conditions, circumstances, so that it may anticipate what's next. Why? Because we want to be prepared, because we want to know, because we must accelerate reality. So when you don't consciously set the goal, the vision, the direction, you're not inspired into action. You're not doing the things you need to do. You're not imagining beyond. You're not receiving intuition. It's because you really don't have direction in your life. You really don't have a goal. You may have an aspiration. You may be inspired by something, but you haven't decided. So here we get into mental focus, inspiration, aspiration, goals, and decision making. When you do not make a decision on a date and a time, you're not going to take the action. You haven't made the decision. So decision making is one of the most important things, the aspect of goals, visioneering, to be inspired, to think. But when you don't decide, you haven't put a date on it. You don't have a plan of action. You're going to find yourself floating along. You'll be like a ship without a rudder. You'll be floating along. Goals are not to get there, to grow. Make a decision. Experience the path. Learn the new habit of the path. As you're learning the new habit of the path through concentration, through decision making, you start to form deep, clear, and precise directions for you to follow the next time. And if you see something didn't work, you adjust. Second, keep your attention firmly concentrated on the path building. Keep your mind away from old paths, lest you incline toward them. Forget all about old paths. Concern yourself only with the new ones that you are building to order. This is going to happen over and over and over. You're going to be inundated with old paths. You're going to have old paths trying to cross you, trying to bring you back in. Why? Why would you have old paths trying to bring you back in?
Is this habits?
It's what you know, it's habits. Keep your mind away from old paths. Forget about the old path and concern yourself only with the new ones that you are building to order. Third, travel over your newly made paths as often as possible. Make opportunities for doing so without waiting for them to arise through luck or chance. The more often you go over the new paths, the sooner will they become well worn and easily traveled. Create plans for passing over these new paths at the very start. Fourth, resist the temptation to travel over the older, easier paths that you have been using in the past. Every time you resist temptation, the stronger you become, and the easier it will be for you to do so the next time. But every time you yield to the temptation, the easier it becomes to yield again, and the more difficult it becomes to resist the next time. You will have a fight on at start, And this is the critical time. Prove your determination, persistency, and willpower at the very beginning. Now let's look at faith and beliefs. Every time you go to the old path and you don't commit to the new one, you're stacking another belief against yourself. When you don't take inspired action, when you don't make decisions, and every time you go back to the old way of thinking and doing, you're stacking another belief that doesn't believe it can do, it can take the inspired action. It doesn't believe it needs to make decisions or it can make decisions. And it's building another belief against itself that's going to cause it to go back to what it knows. You're always building beliefs. You're building the new one in the new direction, or you're building a belief against the new one. Fifth, be sure that you have mapped out the right path as your definite purpose, and then go ahead without fear, without allowing yourself to doubt. Place your hand upon the plow and look not backward. Select your goal and make good, deep, wide mental paths leading straight to it. As you have already observed, there is a close relationship between habit and autosuggestion, self-suggestion. Through habit, an act repeatedly performed in the same manner has a tendency to become permanent and eventually will come to perform the act automatically, unconsciously. In playing a piano, for example, the artist can play a familiar piece while his or her conscious mind is on some other subject. Autosuggestion is a tool that which will dig a new mental path. Concentration is the hand that holds that tool. And habit is the map or blueprint that the mental path follows. I'm going to read this again. Autosuggestion is the tool. Autosuggestion is a tool with which we dig a mental path. Concentration is the hand that holds the tool. Habit is the map or the blueprint that the mental path follows. An idea or a desire to be transformed into terms of action or physical reality must be held in the conscious mind faithfully and persistently until habit begins to give it permanent form. So here we're getting words to apply, to interact with, to entangle with. And to many of you, you never known that words are direction. Words are a way of controlling the flow of thought energy. Words are a way to express your spiritual nature. Your spirit must get into the spirit of the idea. Your spirit must get into the word and then give life to it. A word without a spiritual entanglement is a non-entity. The word goes back to the letters of a dictionary. All words are directors. All words are directional. The magic is not in the word. The magic is in spirit. Spirit is the only thing that can give magic and life to a word. You must get into the spirit of a game. You must get in the spirit of a word. You must give into the spirit of a direction. Spirit is the life-giving force that gives life to any idea. Otherwise, it all goes back to the field. Spirit goes back to the field. Spirit goes back to its old image. Spirit goes back to the old goal. Spirit gets into life of the old way of thinking and reasoning, and it begins to give life to that reasoning factor. And you reason back to yourself, from yourself to yourself, from your beliefs to your beliefs, from your programs to your programs, and then you're off to the old track again. The gift was spirit, and recognizing that your spirit is perfect. If you don't recognize it, your spirit goes right back to what it knows. You're back to the races again, and then you are moving back into everything you already know, getting more of the same results, living more of the same lifestyle, experiencing more of what you already know. Spirit was a gift. Words are tools. Words are directives. That is making a movement that is not publicly observable. Now we move into quantum mechanics and physics. That's right. So as you begin to walk, direct, control, concentrate, and you, which is your spirit, begin to tell that body to act and behave as it never would. And then the body, you're able to talk to the body and cause it to act and behave as it never would. This is the only time you are re-educating the body. The I and the me begin to become one eye, one pointed. The I is higher consciousness, the me, lower consciousness, begin to become one-eyed, one-pointed, and begin to trail a new way into a new reality. This is called superposition, controlled reality, controlled manifestation. The I and the me becoming one-pointed. No duality, do it, don't do it. No jumping back and forth. No giving its power to outside circumstances. Not saying it's because of them, it's because of her, but truly controlling the form of thought creation. And when you can take possession of your own mind, you can take possession of your own consciousness. You can take possession of the me, the body, the me. When the I can take possession of the body and tell it what to do, to act and behave as it never would, the I and the me become one pointed. Now, if I want to say this now, the conscious and the subconscious become one directive. You begin to have control of reality. Now, I am using words to understand a movement that is not publicly observable. But through using words, you understand how to move back into the field. Some of you may be saying, what is he talking about? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to become more aware. We have a conscious, we have a subconscious mind. We have ideas that we think about, and then we have ideas that we dream about and we never take action on. That is the I and the me recognizing each other. But the folly is in not committing to each other. The folly will be the I has more awareness, but the me has more dominance. A vision that I truly desire that comes to me, it's spiritual, a vision that's spiritual. And then the me, the lower subconscious mind, that already has a habit, already has a behavior, it already's been operating on autopilot, maybe for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 years, been doing the same thing over and over again. Maybe in the lower part of consciousness, operating from the physical level, what we hear, see, taste, touch, and smell. Creature of habit. The minute you get a new vision, you get an idea, the me rejects it, says I'm not good enough. You're talking from yourself to yourself. You're telling your higher awareness or your soul and spirit that is asking you to develop more of yourself, and you keep telling it, no, we can't do that. No, we can't have that. No, it's not possible. You see, if you don't have a good enough clue or good understanding of the way you operate, you're going to be lost. Doesn't matter what goal you set. It doesn't matter how much you know. It doesn't matter how many books you study and you read. None of that matters. Because if you don't understand how you work, you're going to get pulled right back into doing the same thing over and over again. We're going over concentration. And what does it take? I'm giving you words. We're looking at words. We're studying Napoleon Hill's laws of success. And he used words to demonstrate a movement that's not publicly observable. He's using words to take you back into the heart of the mind. This is going back to quantum mechanics, quantum physics. We use words to understand a movement that's not publicly observable, that you will have to do on your own. After this classroom, you will have to go back to the I and the me. And you're going to normally, average individuals, going to go right back into the me awareness, me programs, these beliefs, these ideas. And the average individual goes back to what they know. Words are used to activate an awareness, to activate a direction, to control direction of what? Higher and lower awareness. The eye can see beyond what the eyes can see. The eye can receive visions. You want to call it from God, from source, infinite intelligence, universal intelligence, whatever you want to call that energy that is always feeding us more life. That awareness can receive visions from the future, can receive ideas from the future, can receive intuition, can gain more awareness. And then there's the me that's already been programmed, that already has its beliefs, that is working from the particle level, from what it hears, sees, tastes, touches, smells. And if you don't understand the mechanism, you're lost. Why have I studied this for so many years? Why do I continue to study it? Because I wanted to understand why I was getting the results I was getting and what I needed to do to change. Why do I dedicate my life to the study and the research of human consciousness, to the development of human consciousness? Because it's the only thing I could ever study. It is the only thing that was ever going to take me beyond what I know. The study of human consciousness, origins of consciousness, the development of consciousness is the only place that we could ever go to go beyond ourselves. I studied many years to go beyond myself. I no longer wanted to keep getting the same results, living the same lifestyle, experiencing the same things. I knew that there was more. And to know that there's more and look for these hidden secret, I found that all of that is within me. I found that everywhere I looked was outside of me. And I found that everything that needed to change, everything that needed to become aware, everything that needed to be rewritten was me. So when I work on focus, I work on will, I work on concentration, I work on perception, I work on imagination. I'm taking all that invertedly within me because the only thing that I could ever change is something within me. I learned a long time ago that the outside world was just a reflection of what was going on inside of me. And if I wanted to change the outside world and if I wanted to have a better lifestyle, I was going to have to work on me. And I could no longer let all ideas outside of me control who I am, control my behavior, control how much money I'm going to earn, control the future. I could no longer give my life to ideas that no longer serve me. I could no longer accept just being good enough, just getting by. I had to go within and begin to learn this material in depth if I wanted to really know me. Not the you that you want me to be, not the me that my wife or girlfriend or uncle or aunts or father or mother want me to be. If I wanted to be free, I have to know me, and not the me that you want me to be. But I better know who I am is. Everything that I'm saying about me, it's what you're going to have to do for you. If you truly want to live a lifestyle that you create. Concentration is not focused on anyone outside of you. Concentration is a focus, an inner focus that is derived from within and must control what's happening from within. I'm using words to understand a movement that's not publicly observable, that must be done in the heart of your own mind, in the heart of your own consciousness, so that you may control the flow of thought energy from which you exist. Goals are not to get there to grow. You're developing something from within to and through you. Let's turn to the environment. As we have already seen, we absorb the material for thought from our surrounding environment. The term environment covers a very broad field. It consists of the books to read, the books we've read, the people with whom we associate, the community in which we live, the nature of the work in which we are engaged, the country or nation in which we reside, the clothes that we wear, the songs that we sing, the most important of all, the religious and intellectual training we receive prior to the age of 14. Why is it very important to look at the nature of the structure of the environment that you currently live in, that you keep positioning yourself in to get involved with, and that you've learned from 0 to 14, 0 to 21, 0 to 7, 0 to 3? Why is it so important to look at the nature, the environment from which you are existing or existed in the past? Well, when you look at the nature of the environment and you analyze the nature of the environment from which you have developed your reasoning factors, that means your way of thinking, it shows its direct relationship to your personality, the personality that we are working on developing, and the importance of guarding it. Guarding what? Your awareness and its influence upon you. Some of it will work, some of it won't. And a majority of it, you're going to have to let go. You may be asking, what am I going to have to let go? A lot of your environmental programming. As you're working towards a goal, goals are not to get, they're to grow. So as you're moving towards a goal, you're having to let go of habits from the past, habits from your culture. You're going to have to let go of maybe eating certain foods. They're not getting you to your ideal weight. You may have to let go of eating the same type of foods that are not giving you the body you enjoy. That's a goal. Every image, every thought you have is a goal. It's a direction. The restaurant is a goal. The food you eat is a goal. We are inundated with goals. We are goal seeking organisms. And it's you that has to change something inside of you. If you want to have a better physique, the goal has to be your body, training your body. It could be the gym, it could be a personal instructor, somebody that's going to change your behavior, help you change the behavior, change the habit. And we must look directly to the habits that you keep getting in line with. Those are images fixed in your mind. The habit may be get up at 5 a.m., start working on you. Maybe 6 a.m., start working on you. Maybe get into these classes that are helping you become more aware to develop yourself and give you words so you can write down, so you can create a plan, so that you can cause your body to act and behave as it never would throughout the day. It may be in a relationship, the habit of finding a better relationship, personal, professional. We are goal seeking organisms. The mind feeds upon whatever we supply to it or whatever is forced upon it through its environment. Therefore, let us select our environment. There's a time where I've had to leave my environment several times over. I remember as a young man being involved in the wrong environment. The environment was causing me to act and behave as I was because I was allowing myself to act and behave as the environment was. Some of you may say, well, that's ridiculous. But yet you keep acting like your environment. Some of you may say, well, the environment's okay. Well, then you have an okay lifestyle. See, a lot of you didn't know that you had lost your power. Because if you did, you wouldn't act and behave as you do. And you gave it away to your environment. And you gave it away because you're not aware of the way the mind works. Some of you say, well, my environment was impoverished. Well, then your chances are you can very well be living a impoverished lifestyle because you took on the environment's behavior. You took on those thoughts. And then you act and behave as they do. You took on their habit. You took on their behavior. I remember going and looking at the environment that I grew up in, and it was a impoverished environment. I go back to go look at the environment in that part of town, and it's still impoverished. You think that's an accident? Energy affects energy. I began to go look at the medium, mid-low side of town. They all have habits too. And they all live more or less the same places. You took on their way of thinking, you live more or less in their same area. I went to go look at mid environment, mid-high environment. All of those are habits, behaviors, desires, desires. They desire to work in the same offices. They desire to have the same positions. They desire to have the same jobs. Their desire takes them to an image. And then the desire causes them to act and behave alongside the image. And before long, they're in a perfect alignment with that image of their environment. It blew my mind how people don't know what's happening around them. And they never really know that the cause of it is what's happening within them. They got emotionally involved with images from their environment, and they took those images from their environment as their own. And before long, they're in perfect harmony with it, wondering why they're living the way they're living. Environment is direction, directives. Then I went to go visit the environment of the high low, high mid, high high, all different environments. they really don't mingle. If they do mingle, they're there for a little bit and then they're off to another place. They're off to their environment. It's so important to start to look at reality from a different point of perspective, not your own. Because if you look at it from you, you're going to get more of your ideas. If you go and ask the neighbor, you already know his ideas. Look at his results. If you're going to ask somebody for advice and they're living more or less the same lifestyle, they don't know how to go there, otherwise, they would be living there. Truly look at the environment. Truly look at the way people think. And you're going to find out that they don't think. They're using other people's ideas. Thinking is not mental activity. And for so long, we've been taught that that was thinking. Thinking is organizing information to a completely different direction. Thinking is imagining beyond what you know. When you're not imagining to go beyond what you know, you're not thinking. You're just reorganizing the environment. Everything you've learned in the past, that's not thinking. You're just repeating what you know. Some of you may want to take a look at this and rewind it and watch it over and over and over again if you really want to change, so that you can decipher what I'm saying. And what I'm telling you to do, what I'm showing you to do, is words mean a movement that is not publicly observable. You will have to learn to take on the words that I have given you and then apply them to yourself so that you can learn the movement that's not publicly observable, cause your body to act and behave and go into a different direction they would have never gone. Otherwise, the mind looks for direction, goes back to your old image, goes back to your old environment, goes back to your old habit, goes back to your old way of thinking, and you're right back to what you know. Habit is the making and breaking of people. It is the control of people. The mind feeds upon whatever we supply. Whatever we supply it. I remember supplying with my mind, my own mind, with impoverished ideas. I found a impoverished job. I found hard work. I found long hours. I remember supplying it, my mind, with low ideas. I had a low job, low money. I remember supplying my mind with low mid ideas, low high ideas. Now I'm showing you the increment of ideas and how we get paid for our ideas, how we earn money from our ideas. Then I went to mid low, mid high. All the time not knowing that the environment and ideas from the environment are shaping my way of thinking. High low, high mid, high ideas. Each and every one of them shaping my reality. And I was having conversation from myself to myself, from my higher awareness, spiritual awareness, to my lower awareness, past beliefs, past way of thinking. And here in between, the spiritual nature is trying to figure out what's next. Where are we going? What are we doing? Make a decision. Don't make the decision. Go back to what you know. Do what's safe. Everything that I am explaining to you, I'm just breaking everything down in a manner that you can better understand it. That's happening to you right now. It's happening to all of us. but rarely are we educated into ourselves. Let us select our environment. The object of supplying the mind with suitable material out of which to carry out works to attaining our definite purpose in life. If your environment is not to your liking, change it. If the environment is not to your liking, change it. And if you don't change it, you're going to start reasoning as they reason. Environment is vibration, it's energy. The first step is to create in your mind an exact, clear, and well-developed picture of their environment in which you believe would best benefit you to the attainment of your definite purpose. And then concentrate your mind upon this picture until you transform it into reality. The first step is to create in your own mind an exact, clear, and well-developed picture of the environment in which you believe would best help you attain the definite purpose, definite chief aim in your life, and then concentrate your mind upon the picture until you transform it into reality. In lesson 1 of this course, you learned that the first step you must take in the accomplishment of any desire is to create in your mind a clear, well-defined picture of what you intend to accomplish. This is the first principle to be observed in your plans for the achievement of success. And if you fail or neglect to observe it, you cannot succeed except by chance. Your daily associates constitute one of the most important and influential parts of your environment and may work for your progress or your retrogression. According to the nature of those associates. As far as possible, you should select as your most intimate daily associates those who are in sympathy with your aims, ideals, especially those represented by your definite purpose, and whose mental attitude inspire you with enthusiasm, self-confidence, determination, and ambition. Remember that every word spoken within your hearing, every sight that reaches your eyes, and every sense impression that you receive through any of the 5 senses influences your thoughts as surely as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. This statement being true, can you not see the importance of controlling, as far as possible, the environment in which you live and work? Can you not see the importance of reading books that deal with the subjects that are directly related to your definite purpose? Can you not see the importance of talking with people who are in sympathy with your aims, who will encourage you and spur you on toward the attainment, that attainment? The leading scientists of the world are agreed that nature has been millions of years in creating, through the process of evolution, our present civilized environment. The clothes you wear influence you. The clothes that you wear influence you. Therefore, they constitute a part of your environment. Soiled and shabby clothes depress you and lower your self-confidence, while clean clothes of an appropriate style have just the opposite effect. I looked at my environment. I knew they were not going in the direction I want. Results, environment, they all show you where they're going. They all show you what they represent. The old saying, birds of a feather flock together. Look at the clothing people wear. Look at the clothing that you wear. And you'll always find that it is in alignment with your mindset, with the culture, with your environment, and with all of their results. Look at the way you dress. Look at your position in a job and how it affirms dress clothing. It's aligned. And then you'll also see that the amount of money that you earn to the position or job or whatever it is are in perfect harmony. There are no accidents, there's alignment. And it is a hidden energy. And we're not aware of it. We'll always find our power outside of ourselves. It is a well-known fact that there is a close relationship between one's mental attitude and one's physical environment. The effects of the environment so vitally influence those who work in factories, stores, offices. Employers are gradually realizing the importance of creating an environment that inspires and encourages the workers. There are no accidents. This brings an appropriate place at which to describe the method through which you may apply the principles that are directly and indirectly related to the subject of concentration. Let us call this method the magic key to success. In presenting you with the magic key, let me first explain that it is no invention or discovery of mine. It is the same key that is used in one form or another by the followers of New Thought and all other sects that are founded on the positive philosophy of optimism. The magic key constitutes an irresistible power that all who will may use. It will unlock the door to riches. It will unlock the door to fame. And in many instances, it will unlock the door to physical health. It will unlock the door to education and let you into the storehouse of all your latent ability. It will act as a pass key to any position in life for which you are fitted. Through the aid of this magic key, we have unlocked the secret doors to all the world's great inventions through its magic powers. All of our great geniuses of the past have been developed. Suppose you are a laborer in a menial position and desire a better place in life. The magic key will help you attain it. Through its use, Carnegie, Rockefeller, Hill, Harriman, Morgan, and scores of others of their type have accumulated vast fortunes of material wealth. It will unlock prison doors turn human derelicts into useful, trustworthy human beings. It will turn failure into success and misery into happiness. What is this magic key? And I answer to you with one word: concentration. Now let me define concentration in the same sense that it is here used. First, I wish you to clearly understand that I have no reference to occultism, although I will admit that all the scientists of the world have failed to explain the strange phenomena produced through the aid of concentration. Concentration is the sense in which it is here used, means the ability through fixed habit and practice to keep your mind on one subject until you have thoroughly familiarized yourself with that subject and mastered it. It means the ability to control your attention and focus it on a given problem until you have solved it. It means the ability to throw off the effects of habits that you wish to discard and the power to build new habits that are more to your liking. It means complete self mastery. Stating in another way, concentration is the ability to think as you wish to think, the ability to control your thoughts and direct them to a definite end, and the ability to organize your knowledge into a plan of action that is sound and workable. You can readily see that in concentrating your mind upon your definite purpose in life, you must cover many closely related subjects that blend into each other and make up the main subject upon which you are concentrating. Let's see, we are close to our time. There's a lot that we went through today, and these are just words. Words mean a movement that is not publicly observable. And if you're not ready to integrate the meaning of a word, you're never going to experience it. Integration is your ability to release in action what the word means. When you release an action of what the word means that's not publicly observable, you are reverse engineering the body to connect to the neurons, to connect to spirit, and to the field of entanglement, quantum positioning. A lot of people don't understand what I'm saying. I've even studied the mind in the manner that I'm studying it. I am going from the physical to the mental to the field of entanglement. There's a science in creation. There's a science to creation. There's an understanding to who we are. We've got to be able to understand this from the ground up and from up down. You've got to be able to take this body to act and behave as it never would. And when you are doing that, you are reverse engineering creation. You're reverse engineering the thing that is not publicly observable, but is giving you life. If that spirit and that breath is taken away, the body falls down, and that energy is off to another place. You are non-local awareness becoming local. And if you want me to prove it to you right now, can you see the Ferrari? Can you see the Lamborghini? Can you see the orange, the apple, the tree, the acorn on the tree? Every word that I said, you are seeing it with your mind's eye. That is non-local. That is proof that your mind's eye, you want to call it a third eye, you want to call it a vision, you want to call it your accelerated awareness. That thing's alive. You rarely use it. You use your physical eyes to make decisions for what's next. But I just proved that you are non-local. You are non-locally aware, and you can receive visions, and you can see the vision in your mind's eye. Lamborghini, Ferrari, red, purple, orange, green. 300 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour. For you to receive a vision and see the vision in your mind's eye means that you are beyond local awareness. And you can move that down into the screen of your mind, your brain, your mind's eye. You can move that vision into your mind's eye, and then you can cause this brain to neurons, the neurons to fire and wire, to cause you to act and behave as you never would and go beyond what you know. This brings clear awareness that there's perfection within you, and you can cause that perfection to go with you, go through you wherever you want it to go. You can cause your body to act and behave and receive results it would have never received. But you've got to learn more about yourself. And that's what we do in these classes, is we teach you to develop yourself, to go beyond what you know. Send me a message, you're ready to get involved, to change yourself, change your reality. It's the only place you could ever work on. Thank you guys. Have a blessed day. And we'll be seeing you guys.